Howdy, my name is Jeffrey John Booth. I am the Youngblood Endowed Professor of Land and Property Development at Texas A&M University. In this short film, I am proud to share with you the final defence by one of our Master of Land and Property Development graduates, Mr. Stephen BARRERA. Stephen came to the Master of Land and Property Development program from the AGGIE football team, and as a result of the mentorship opportunities developed by Texas A&M University in collaboration with the Urban Land Institute, Stephen was introduced to and subsequently recruited as a development executive at the Johnson Development Corporation. The Johnson Development Corporation is headquartered in Houston, Texas, and is a leading residential and commercial real estate development company that specializes in premium value master planned communities and real estate investment assets. Texas A&M University Provost, Karan has introduced major innovations and academic reform programs since her appointment that have inspired and guided the development and refinement of the Master of Land and Property Development program. We are one of the few real estate degrees taught in a design school as opposed to a business college. It is a unique degree that equips its graduates with the core knowledge and core competencies required for entry into and career success in the real estate industry. Our graduates are literally creating the communities in which we live and which we will bequeath to future generations. This integrated learning, research and service foundation comes together for our students in their final defence prior to graduation, where they finalise and present the ePortfolio of work undertaken by them to be awarded the Master of Land and Property Development degree from Texas A&M University. It is with great pride that on behalf of all the students, alums, staff and faculty at Texas A&M who have invested in the success of the Master of Land and Property Development degree program, that I share with you now Stephen BARRERA's final defence. It is just one more example of what distinguishes an AGGIE and explains in part the significant advantage they have for career success as a result of what they have learned at Texas A&M University. AGGIEs commit.
Well, good morning, and thank you all for taking your time out of the day to come and visit me and watch my presentation on my final defense. This final presentation is meant to give y'all insight and good direction that I've attained the core knowledge and core competencies that the MLPD program has offered, and how I'm applying this on a daily basis throughout my job that I'm currently employed with Johnson Development and development manager of a master plan community in Wood Forest. So a little bit about myself. I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, and moved to Clear Lake in the 7th grade, where I was introduced to athletics and higher education than I experienced in Corpus. At that time, I met a lot of friends and received a scholarship to play football at Texas A&M, and so I decided to go there because my whole family was basically from A&M. And it was a true honor to have received that scholarship. I graduated with my undergrad a semester early, and so I still had a scholarship, and I felt that it was my obligation, my obligation to excel or to discover some higher learning, and whether it's a certificate or a master's, I was looking for some type of direction. I felt that I was very blessed to have the scholarship, and it would be a waste if I didn't pursue anything else. So that kind of led me to the MLPD program. And some of the people that led me to the MLPD program, Jesse Sagnor from the get-go was one of the first persons that I met next to Leslie Fagamon. I just kind of went to them, was kind of led to them from some of the different counselors, and they looked at my resume and my undergrad, and I told them that I had an entrepreneur mindset. I really wanted to explore something with business, and rather than just construction, because I was leaning towards construction management. I had, my family was in construction. My father and stepmom, they're all, involved in construction. My mom was a landscape architect at A&M, and I felt that I just didn't necessarily want to do just work for a general contractor. I wanted something that I can truly apply myself and create an environment that is unique and is my own. And so during that process, I also met Edward Tarleton, and he gave me the confidence and the encouragement to believe in myself and go after something bigger than myself. And he just told me the benefits of this master's degree program, and felt that I was the right person, so I truly believed him. And the athletic department was also big as well as far as support, and they led me to this program and just kept me on track at the very beginning when I was still involved with athletics. Family and friends and having faith as well was something that I leaned on. I spoke many nights, prayed many nights with my family, and just asked them if I was making the right decision as far as future investment. And I truly gave myself. Maybe I was a little more immature when I first began, because I had just ran through undergrad degree and wasn't really retaining knowledge to a certain extent that I felt that I could go out and apply myself in the real world. So I felt that I wanted something a little more direct and not as wide ranged. And so I trusted that this was going to be the right thing for me, and I could get a job later on because it was direct. It was something that I truly wanted to do. So the MLPD program, what you obtain out of this is core knowledge and core competencies that you apply to your work and your daily environment on a daily basis. Everything that I have been through, every course that I've been through in this program, I do on a daily basis. Sometimes 5 classes a day is something that I experience. And what you get out of the discipline is the core knowledge essential to conceptualization, design, activation, and management, delivery as well. And that's part of these of being successful in land development properties. You also retain skills and values, the competency to apply and deploy core real estate knowledge. Throughout the program, you'll also be exposed to networking, and you'll have the opportunity to network with industry professionals. You will have the opportunity to present yourself in a professional way that you can potentially have a future employer look at you differently, and they will acknowledge your core knowledge and core competencies if you direct themselves. But just overall, having the ability to mingle with some of these industry professionals is something that was greatly appreciated throughout the whole program. At this time, I don't think we need to pull up the ePortfolio. We'll just continue on with some of the discipline outcomes that you will see. There's 10 throughout this program that are focused on every single class, and it's applied directly. And you get a little taste of every one of these in almost every single class if you sit back and really apply it. Number 1 is development conceptualization, so we'll start there. This is kind of the beginning. This is where it all starts. You can't get together with a group of people and do an I have a dream speech and just draw it up and say that on this piece of land, this amount of parcels in the middle of the city or out in some rural land, we're saying that a high-rise condo is going to be there, or this calls for hotel and conference. You have to have some direction, some reason, some artifacts to give you reasons for your design. And so it starts with conceptualization. You're trying to satisfy.
Sorry, pardon that. I've got this thing.
You're trying to satisfy the unmet need, and so you look at the real estate market in that area. One of the tools that you can use is Dennis Jerky's, who's the author of Urban Design and the Bottom Line. You can use this quadruple net analysis that looks at economic data, social, cultural, environmental, and sensory value as well. It allows you to focus on the return of perception rather than just the bottom line return on your investment. So you're trying to create value in a public space. You want to know what is going to be attractive to this area. Is there something that is giving you reason for your development? So you're trying to find all these different factors that's going to give you support later on in your market analysis. Number two is our market analysis, and this is looking at reasons. This is looking a little more in depth. You're going to look at demographics. You're going to look at your demographic data as far as sex, age, race, gender, ethnicity. You know, is there some type of cultural influence that you can design and build around that you need to incorporate? One of the tools that Professor Peterson gave us that is, you know, he always said it was the gem that he got out of whenever he took this class, was utilizing the economic base analysis, where you're basically projecting future growth in population using location quotients and shift analysis and different things like that. Some of the, as far as economic data goes, you're going to be looking at taxable values, rentable values. You know, how much, what's the vacancy of the apartment complex adjacent to our site, or what's the property value assessed, and so we can properly align our project with whatever we're trying to develop. Construction values, you know, increasing concrete prices, water prices, that's a big thing today. And so just looking at how all that is going to factor in later on when we start getting a little more in depth as far as feasibility. Then you can also look at lifestyle, psychographics. This is something that you want to go out to the site and intermingle. Say this is a redevelopment, and you know you're trying to revitalize this area. So you go to the site and you see what kind of people are going there, what kind of smells are you getting, and just talk to them, and you know just ask them, you know, how do you feel, what can be different. So it's just actually going there and visiting the people and getting an idea of how it feels and how you can change the environment. And after you've done conceptualization and your market analysis, you have adequate amounts of research, you can then start to formulate your design and build around those supporting artifacts. And so you would have already defined your target markets. This is a picture of our traditional single-family residential section, phase 1, in Camp Strake. Camp Strake's a 2,000-plus acre property that's one of the projects I'm developing on right now, and it's got frontage on Loop 336, and then not in this picture, but here is I-45 frontage as well. So we're able to define our target market by saying that Exxon's 7-10 miles down south of us. They're going to be bringing in families, bringing in more people, so we have an opportunity for traditional single-family lots with multiple products. I think we're going to be delivering 5 different products in these first phases, and it's anywhere from patio homes, duplexes, 70-foot lots, 60-foot lots, and so it's just being able to, you know, have a wide range of different products. Understanding the site characteristics, you got to look at the topography, look at it from, you know, from a drainage level. You know, what kind of, how are we going to drain everything? Is it going to be automatically the streams, or are we going to have a detention pond? What is going to need if we have this design and we do traditional family or office space, whatever it is. Then along with that, designing around wetlands. I liked this picture because I kind of had, I was in the conversations with our design team, and I just remember going through Dr. Anderson's residential class and, you know, doing my first, I guess, lot, you know, shaping. You can curve roads, you can do whatever you want, and so this was like, you know, the extreme where we're seeing wetlands, we're seeing fill areas. This whole area is going to have to be filled. And so we're saying, like, well, where are you getting the fill? Where are we going to get these spoils from? And you can't just, you know, what's most cost efficient? Is it going to be off-site, or are we going to be able to find something within our property? But spanning across wetlands, different options. You can do reinforced concrete pipes, you can have a traditional bridge, whatever is more cost efficient, but you cannot impact a wetland, I think more than 1/10 of an acre on a single stream. And so just knowing that and knowing where the back of the lots are at, and this, we do all of our utilities in the back, and so just having to size everything correctly and get the highest yield is the main objective. And so we did a lot of twists and turns, and also considering private streets and reimbursables. We decided to create the effect of a gate by landscaping it differently, having, just making it feel like it's a private community, but we're still connecting to the end, so looking for reimbursables in the future. So we also, I have been told multiple times that we need to get master plan community maps before we start this project, and so that's one of the things that I'm actively pursuing, and we're trying to get established. But there are tons of issues with this land that we're trying to protect, and also areas that we just can't build on because it's in the floodplain. And that takes a unique development team, having a wide range of engineers, environmentalists, lawyers, everyone that kind of understands that you can't just go into the city and build this. It takes a long time to file for a nationwide permit or individual permit. You have to understand how that works with your timeline as well.
Before you go into that, do you know the history of Camp Strug? You know what it was at one time prior to the time it was a development?
Yes, it was originally used as a Boy Scout camp, and there's trails throughout it. There's a Grand Lake is one of the amenities that we're going to hopefully capitalize on. And Marjorie Oakham was an Eagle Scout as well, and so we definitely have a good understanding of the property, and we're trying to maintain its history and incorporate it throughout our development, and definitely not lose its name. That's great. After all that, it leads us to delivery and management. This is all about making this financially feasible, and how are you going to manage this entire process. What I like to do and what we do with wood forest development is we have a phasing map that is color coordinated and says, in 2013 we're delivering these sites, 2014 we're hopefully we're delivering these, 15 looking in the future, we're trying to move to this section, and that's looking at replacement products. How are we going to replace these 55s that are about to go out? And these builders are looking for more lots, so we got to go there first, and that's going to require these collector roads and moving in that direction. So being ahead of the platting process right now is something that I'm experiencing with Montgomery County. There's a ton of growth in the area, and if we can plat. Right now we're looking at platting sections at a time, and just combining two sections, because we go there with, right now we're working on 16 different sections, and it's kind of just tedious process, and we feel that they're a little understaffed right now, and so we're trying to figure out different ways to better be prepared whenever we have to deliver these lots. Coordinating with all the contractors, part of my job is to one, work with our design team and have an idea of where we're going in the future, and making sure that we're getting the highest yield. If I don't like some of these lots that have four homes that are backing up to a side of a lot, there's got to be another way we can reshape that. Could we put more fill there, and whatever it is, we're looking at. My job is to make sure that we're getting the highest yield, and this is a good design, and then working with our development engineers as far as making sure that our surveyors are ahead of our clearing contractor. Because the surveyor's got to get out, he's got to have time, survey the land, give us all the information that we need to then allow our clearing guys to go out there, clean it up, tear it up, and make it ready for construction, because we don't want our contractors, our WS&D contractors, going into something that is not fully grubbed and graded, and then that leads to sometimes we have multiple sections at a time, and so we have multiple WS&D and paving contractors doing that. We're giving them and awarding them multiple projects, and so always just being on top of where everyone's at, and you don't want any contractor to leave the site, go do another job, and then come back. That's just what we're trying to avoid at all times, and it's difficult when we have a lot of growth. But now's the time to really execute on all these. And I came in at a very good time, and I think we're expected to deliver 580 lots this year, and we just got to keep it going, and because my boss has told me about the bad times, and it's going to come at some point, but I'm trying to keep up pace. And being on time and under budget, that's all about making sure you're meeting that pro forma delivery schedule, making sure you hit the number of lots, and that just takes all the coordination, making sure everyone's got work to do. There's plenty of work. Deal structuring. This is where you decide your development entity, your business entity, and how you want to structure your entire organization. What kind of protections do you want, and what type of liabilities are you willing to take? You got to think about taxes, and in Texas, there's no tax on personal income, and so there's different advantages to everything that you can align yourself with. You can have an LLC and limited partnership. It's however you want to establish your development agreement that best suits your protection, and also your investors as well. How you want to organize your managers. I highly recommend operating agreements so that you know who's getting these reimbursables, how much percent is this investor A getting, just making sure everyone's status as far as decision making. That's part of your deal structuring. Budgets and cash flows and feasibility is number 6 in your discipline. What I have learned and have been doing with wood forest development is a cost of sales analysis. This is looking at mainly like a new product that we're going into, something that we haven't done, we're introducing. Right now we're working on Pine Island, which is a section of wood forest surrounded by a 9-hole link. And so we have access off of our main frontage road into 100 acres, and it's a great opportunity for custom homes. And so this is kind of a whole new product, great opportunity. And so this is where I'm analyzing your net sales, your costs, your overall developer costs combined with your overall community costs, community-wide expenditures, district expenditures, and then you look at the project costs as far as your developer costs. You look at your paving, all of your engineering, WS&D. What are all those costs? Is there going to be reimbursables? In this case, no, because we're trying to gate the community. So we have to account for all those expenses. And then you get our net sales revenue and what we're expected to make. Right now I'm projecting the entire property. Of course we're doing it for sections, but and then doing a ratio of the developer costs and your net operating or your net revenue, and making sure that you're aligned with that. Then we have our overall pro forma. So looking at it from a business, our corporation maintains our entire project portfolio or pro forma, and I'll work with them on updating it constantly. I'm big on making sure that we have the right numbers. We're having the same amount of you've accounted for the number of lots that we've taken down this past year or this year, and that's important for us. And setting our goals is one of those things as well. We can't tell them you don't want to overachieve, we want to overachieve, but we don't want to tell them that we're going to do 600 lots and then do 580 or whatever it is. So we set our goals appropriately, and we know that we're going to excel them, and then we make them happy when we do. Year by year lot takedown, same thing. Investor loan packages. This is kind of the entire process of getting your conceptualization, your design together, giving them giving them the confidence that they're willing to invest in this, and then showing them the potential return, whether it's an IRR or XIRR, and giving them the confidence that they can provide equity for this deal. Property law and contracts. For commercial reasons, just understanding the leases. We have 100 plus acres as well as commercial in our wood forest development. Also in Camp Strake's going to have a wider range of commercial products as well, single family, higher density solutions, and then retail and commercial, big box retail as well. You have your deeds, your trusts, and of course in residential development, our job is to deliver the lots to the home builders and then transfer the deed to them. And our name is off of it. We don't have control, and anything that happens from there on out is the builder's responsibility and liability. And so that's kind of the name of the game. But at the end of the deal, we don't have our name on it, and we wash our hands, and we're hopefully created a great community. Easements and restrictions. There's always easements. There's tons of easements that you got to get notarized and get sent out for all the utility contractors, and you also got to look forward, and if you are buying new property, is there any easements, encumbrances, or restrictions that you have to be aware of before you even purchase it and make your decision. Number 8 is regulatory process and infrastructure. Wood Forest was given a Moody's rating of an A3 this past year, and that was real big as far as our mud is considered, and bond reimbursables. That gave us the big dogs to come in and go after bonds. Right now we did a $25 million bond that I'm currently working on, a $25 million WS&D bond, which is over I think 16 through 54 sections, and that's over 30, 40 sections that we're working on, lift stations and everything as well. And so pulling all the support, all of the audit information, all these letters of certifications of capacity, making sure that we got everything lined up is something that I've been dealing with. And we have road bonds that we just finished up, $5 million road bond as well. And what I'm learning as well is whenever you're coding invoices, if it's reimbursable, kind of make your own spreadsheet, because there's other people that are in charge of that, but it makes the process a lot easier if we know where everything's at. Substantial completion, is one of the other things that is big. You have to make sure that you have letter of substantial completion as far as testing and plats and everything. Sustainable development. One of the things that Professor Booth talked about was sustainability dividend. This is all about reducing costs and operating costs and designing with value intentions. What are you doing with your development that is different, and how is it making more value? Knowledge and integration is just compiling information into an information memorandum. This is the entire process and how you're applying it. So you have your quadruple net analysis, your market analysis, competition studies, comparable studies, the 5 development stages that I went through. And number one thing is you just don't need to fall in love with the project, because you'll get yourself in the hole. Some of our skills and values, these are our learning outcomes. There's 7 of them. I'm going to go through these. Critical thinking and problem solving. This is our detention pond, and we experienced silty, dead sand, sugar sand, soils, and so it's very hard to stabilize our banks and create an amenity. It's 22 acres inside, 33 acres on top of banks total. So it's going to be a big amenity for our community, and also making it a regional impact as well. So facing that adversity and knowing how to resolve it. Did they over excavate? Can we fill into the toes of the banks and get a different slope on it? Understand that. Creative thinking and innovation. This is Wood Forest, our water park that we have in our community, and so this is definitely different. We're also having a zip line as well. It's a holistic approach, thinking about the community first, and what can we do for them, and how is this product different than everyone else, creating that niche. Communication. Here's Camp Strake, the entire property. Here's our traditional residential sector. Here's our I-45 frontage, potential office, and here's our mixed-use retail, big box retail, higher density solutions in here, potential hotel and conference center, Grand Lake frontage as well. And so just working with everyone legal, we've had multiple meetings where it's like class, everyone's throwing out ideas. Well, where are we going to get the spoils from? Can we go from the guy next door, or where are we going to fill? What needs fill? How much fill is it? How are we going to, where's our sanitary and drainage going, and how are we avoiding these wetlands as well, and protecting the environment? Collaboration, learning to work with your team. Everyone's different. Everyone's got their different frustrations, and everyone learns differently. So time management is definitely a big thing. Having that shared goal and just being a leader in general will help give you, help set you aside, and that's something that we learned in almost all of our classes. Definitely the capstone class was something that you had to collaboratively work with people. Stewardships and ethics. It's all about your reputation. You're building stuff in the real world, and this is Boy Scouts of America camp. Camp Strake. It means something to a lot of people. A lot of dads and sons went to this, and they have their memories. And for us to go in there and develop it something, that means something. And we hope that we can protect the environment and give them the respect, especially to Mr. Strake as well. Coach Sherman instilled in us accountability and integrity, and some of the characteristic traits that I live my life by are loyalty, trust, respect, discipline, and teamwork. And he demanded those things of us, and of course having a full schedule and class schedule is very demanding, and time management was a big key factor in that. Research and revisioning, continuing to be up to date with the market. The market's continuing to change, adding new products like Grace Point Homes here in one of our sections. This is a different product, and it's definitely eye-opening, and that's allowing us to stay active and stay competitive with our developments next door. Reworking the infrastructure. Water is going to be expensive, and so we're trying to think of ways that we can recycle as well. Entrepreneurship, civic, and global services is our last skills and values, and so I hope to one day pursue my own development company and develop and create my own vision with the help of my development team as well. And when it comes to revitalizing existing outdating properties or land, just making it a better place, and just understanding that this is for future generations, and it's not necessarily all about benefiting from the bottom line in this. MLPD Real Estate Network Development. Throughout this program, you had the opportunity to be a part of REDA, the Real Estate Development Association. I was social chair for, I believe, a semester, and mainly I was involved in holding social gatherings and trying to bond with our students, because we all know that some of them are graduating. We get to know them, and I actually am working with everyone. I'm working with Ryan. I see Ryan Day at some of these events that we go to as well, and I see all these different people, and so it's just really it's an important position as far as bonding with people that you're going to be working with in the real world. ULI was one of the biggest things that I found beneficial for getting your name out into the professional real estate world. You had multiple opportunities to attend these different events that gave you direct handshakes and business card transactions with industry leaders, and that also led to my employment as well. Community interactions within College Station. I was an active member of AGGIE athletes involved, and I worked with Hard Hats for Little Heads. Every year, Coach Sherman would take us on Twin City missions, and we'd go and clean up and give back and show them that we care about their establishment. And the big event was also something that we did every year as well. Other things that I've been a part of, football team, like I say, that I played both sides of the ball, offense and defensive line. and is also a backup long snapper. Looking into the future, I'm going to continue to develop wood forests, and hopefully that we're going to buy another 400 acres next to it, and that'll extend my job for a little longer, and also working on Camp Strake at the same time. And that's going to start ramping up here pretty quick, and so going to hopefully invest in real estate for personal investment. I'd like to start owning some type of income producing properties. And also I'm going to be getting engaged hopefully as soon as I can. I'm not going to give out the date on that one as well. But I really truly would like to thank everyone that helped put this program together, all of the outstanding alumni, administration, faculty, and staff. That it is one of the best programs that I can say aligns you properly to become a development manager in my case. And I've experienced every single thing. I've talked like a developer from day one, and that's something that I really appreciate everyone's efforts and countless hours perfecting this program. I also look forward to giving back to the community in this program as well, because I truly believe in this program, and it's something unique that a lot of people will benefit from in the future. Questions, comments, and feedback at this time?